Now think about this. If you've seen a brother in sin and you go to that brother and that brother is restored.
It's hallelujah time.
Well, let me just tell you, I want to read to you from Luke 15, and I'm sure that you're all familiar with the story. It's the story of the prodigal son, right?
Yes, yes.
The parable, starting in verse 20. Jesus said, so he got up, this is talking about the prodigal son. Now remember, he'd been living with the pigs. He had done as much wrong as you could do in that situation. It says, so he got up and came to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion for him, and ran and embraced and kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his slaves, quickly, bring out the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf, kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found. And they began to celebrate. That's the heart of the Father, who has been watching for that person that sinned to come back, that there might be a celebration. We need to get to that place where we really understand the importance of living righteously, or the dire consequences of having sin in our lives. And we should have this heart that there's a celebration when somebody is restored. You know, I know I shared this probably during this study of the Sermon on the Mount. We're in England now, and we were here in England last year. We're here for 5 months this year. And last year I was here, and I had gotten some computer thingy from T-Mobile, for my, so I could get internet broadband on my computer. And I had some difficulty with it when I first got it, so I called up their helpline. We were in the Manchester area. We just come up from London, and I called T-Mobile in London, and I was connected with their helpline, with their help desk. But I got a guy, and as I started to talk to him, I asked him where he was, and he was in the Philippines. Right. So I started talking with him, and as I pray is my habit, I somewhere along the line was sharing with him about Jesus. Oh, I know what it was. He said to me, he recognized that I did not have an English accent. Right, right. Those of my British friends who are watching this now may even be able to tell that I'm not British. You should tell where somebody's from by their conversation. Read Philippians 3:20. Okay, so anyhow, I said, yeah. And he asked me if I was here on vacation. I said, no, I'm here to share about Jesus Christ. And I said, since I'm here, to share about Jesus Christ, I'm going to share with you about Jesus Christ. And I started talking to him about the Lord. And as I say, he was in the Philippines, and my goodness, all of a sudden, it's like he's breaking down, because he's saying to me that he had been saved. But years ago, he had backslidden and fallen away from the Lord, and was not living right, and was not in communication with God. And now he was afraid to come back to God, because he was afraid that God would just smite him when he came back. And I said, first of all, do you honestly think that it's a coincidence that here I am, an American, sitting in England, talking to you in the Philippines? Do you think it was a coincidence that we connected? Not at all. Not at all. And I said, the reason that God has brought us together today is for me to share this with you. And I shared with him, I asked him if he knew the story of the prodigal son, which he did. And I said, I want you to know that the Father is not waiting for an opportunity to bonk you on the head. The Father has been standing, watching, waiting eagerly for you to return, so that there might be a celebration. Yes. I'm going to cry now. Yeah. Well, as I left this conversation with this man, he said, I'm coming home. Hallelujah. He said, I'm coming home. And he started crying. I mean, yeah. I'm on the phone. I never got my computer fixed, by the way. Well, who cares? But here I was, like I said, an American in England talking to a guy in the Philippines. And that's exactly what it was. God had this great desire to restore him to that right relationship with him. And there was a celebration in heaven when that sinner repented and returned. That should be our heart when it comes to sin, because remember, the goal of our instruction is love. And this is where love and mercy rejoice, rather than that kind of judgment that brings condemnation. That's right. That's right. God's purpose is to restore. His purpose is life.